We are going to get into some good stuff today, talking about weight control. There's so much stuff out there saying that you got to do X, Y, and Z in order to lose weight. And today, in this very short video, hopefully, I'll be able to go over with you some of the key fundamentals that you need to know if you are going on a weight loss journey. I believe that there's so much complexity that's being thrown around on how to do this that I want to simplify everything down to the very, very basics in this video. So stay tuned. Hey guys, Newton Kwong here, helping you with long-term solutions in how to eat better and live healthier. All of the information in this video is for educational purposes only. If you're seeking any medical advice, then please consult with your proper healthcare professional. Now with weight control, it gets a little bit touchy, but the concepts are very, very simple. The reason why it's so difficult to do is because we've got to apply these principles over a long period of time. And with everybody's complex lifestyles nowadays, the details in applying the fundamentals becomes kind of fishy, murky, and quite honestly, many people need help in this area of their lives. So I'm going to do my part and try to make this as clear as possible, as easy to grasp as you can, so that you can get started as soon as possible. The first thing that we need to understand when it comes to controlling your weight is the concept of energy balance. I want you to imagine that you had a special type of car, and this is a car where its gas tank is able to expand. When you're putting in gas into the car, that gas, if it's not being used, it stays in the gas tank. If you continue putting gas in the car, in this special car, the gas tank is going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Doesn't matter how much you put in there, it's going to keep getting big. It's going to get to a point where the gas tank is bigger than the car if you don't drive it. If we're taking in a lot of energy and we are not using it in the form of physical activity, if we're not burning off that energy that we get from food, then that energy is going to sit there in our body and it's going to be stored as body fat. Now, unlike a car where its gas tank is a fixed amount of volume, you can put on a lot of excess body fat. So the more energy that you keep taking in through food without expending it out, the more body fat that you're going to accumulate. So this works in the exact opposite way as well. If you're using up more energy than you're currently consuming through food, then your body is going to use the body fat that's already stored in your system for energy. To boil energy balance down, weight gain is when the amount of energy that's coming into your body is greater than the energy that's being expended. Weight loss is when the energy that you're expending is greater than the energy that you're taking in. How we measure this energy is through the unit called calories. The word calories is used a lot in the nutrition, fitness, and health space, and all it is a unit of measurement. Just the same way an inch is a unit of measurement of distance, calories is a unit of measurement of energy. When we're talking about calories, we're talking specifically about energy content, not about nutrient content. We can't tell anything about the nutrition of a particular food just by looking at its calories. However, when it comes to the realm of weight control, then we must look at calories. Principle of energy balance is a law of physics, and it needs to be obeyed in order for us to be able to manipulate our body composition. Okay, now that we've gone over energy balance, we know that there are two sides to the equation. There's the energy that's coming into our body, and then there's the energy that's going out. So let's focus on each side individually. The energy that's coming into our body is primarily through our food, our nutrition. In order to maintain a healthy weight, we want to be eating foods that are naturally lower in calories and higher in the nutrients that our body actually needs. The best thing that you can do in this area is to base your entire diet around whole, minimally processed foods, such as vegetables, fruits, high quality sources of protein, complex carbohydrates, and healthy fats. As a rule of thumb, you want to have high quality protein with each meal that you have. about a palm size at least of protein per meal. The reason why protein is so important is because it builds up all of the non-fat structures in your body. Your bones, your skin, your organs, your muscles all require protein. Also, try to eat more vegetables than you currently are doing right now. The reason why vegetables are so great is because they are very, very high in nutrients and a lot of your vitamins and minerals, and they're also high volume, they're rich in water content, and they take up a lot of space in your stomach, so it helps you get full on less calories. When you start making changes to your nutrition, I want your focus to be on adding in more nutrient-dense foods. Many people, when they start thinking about weight loss, they start thinking about all the foods that they can't have, and they start going into something called a scarcity mindset. This is a state of mind where we restrict ourselves from having things that we enjoy. And although there's going to be a level of self-restraint that you're going to need to have when it comes to controlling your weight, we also don't want to laser in our focus on what we can't have. That makes the journey so much more difficult. Instead, focus solely on adding in more nutrient-dense foods. Focus in on adding in more healthy foods into your diet. There's a slight difference in that type of mentality. One is based on scarcity. I can't have this, I can't have that. The other mentality is an abundance-based mentality where it's like, oh, I get to have all of this stuff. And then if I am still hungry, I get to have some of the foods that I enjoy. The way that this works is that if you prioritize healthy, nutrient-dense foods first, then there's going to be less room in your stomach for you to be eating the foods that are not going to be as favorable to your health. In essence, you get to have both. You get to have the healthy foods and you get to have the foods that you enjoy, although the proportions of each are going to be different than what you're actually consuming right now. Whenever I think about this, I think about when we used to be kids and we would come back home from school and our mom would tell us, hey, finish your homework. Once you're done with your homework, then you go outside and play. This is exactly the type of mindset that we want to have when it comes to our nutrition. We want to do our homework, do the thing that's going to benefit us, right, in our health. Then after we ingest, after we consume the nutrients that we need, then we can have a little bit of fun. That about wraps it up with nutrition and the energy in portion of our total energy balance. And if you're finding value in this video, then please consider liking this video, subscribing to my channel for more tips just like this. And in the comments down below, let me know what you found most valuable so far in this video. Did you understand what energy balance was? Was this a concept that you knew before you watched this video? And now that you know about it, what surprises you about it, if there's any surprise at all? Let me know in the comments down below, as well as any questions that you may have. Now, moving on to the other half of energy balance, which is the energy that we use, the energy that leaves our body. And the best way that we can control this portion of the energy balance equation is by controlling the amount of physical activity that we do. If you don't already exercise on a routine basis, then I would highly recommend that you look for an exercise program that suits your current fitness level right now. Not only is exercise good for increasing the amount of calories that you burn, but exercise is also the medium in which you build up your body. I think that this is a concept that most people miss out on once they get started on their fitness journey. They don't see exercise as a way to build up the body. They see it as something that they have to do in order to struggle through and burn more calories so that they could get smaller and smaller. But in reality, we want to use exercise to build up our body, to get stronger, to become more physically able. The stronger our bodies become, the more capacity that it has for higher levels of performance, the body is going to require more energy to burn. When you think about a high performance car, do you think that it uses less gas or more gas? It's going to be using more gas because it needs to sustain a higher level of performance. And the same thing applies to your body. You want your body to be able to perform at high levels, and exercise is the best tool to tune up your body, to build up to your body so that you become more and more capable of doing that. With that in mind, I highly recommend that you incorporate resistance training in your exercise routine. That means lifting weights with the intention of lifting heavier over time. You want to be setting new performance goals for yourself over time, which in turn is going to level up your intensity, level up your ability to perform physically, and it's going to grow a bigger, stronger body that is going to naturally burn more calories. On top of physical exercise, you also want to increase the amount that you move during the day. You can control this by taking more walks. You can track your steps during the day and make sure that you're increasing the amount of steps that you do every single week. This is an often overlooked part of exercise. Our daily movements outside of the gym, outside of our workouts, can account for a lot of our energy expenditure. When we're talking about physical activity, we also need to be talking about recovery. So what we want to do is get enough sleep so our body can recover from the physical demand that we placed on it during our exercise and during our physical activity throughout the day. The body repairs itself and the body grows while it's resting. So although I know many people have great intentions of wanting to do as much as possible in the beginning so that they get fast results, people who do that tend to burn out sometime down the line. We want to make sure that we're interspersing our times of physical activity with times of rest so that we can grow into this new body that we're creating for ourselves. Exercise breaks down the body, and it's a tool to allow our body to see, this is the physical demand that I need to be able to handle. And then the rest is when the body kind of gathers itself, prepares itself, recovers so that it can handle that same level of physical demand again when you go out to exercise the next time. All right, so that covers mostly the fundamentals of weight control. This next point that I'm about to bring up is what screws most people over. And that's the point that we tend to underestimate the amount of time that it takes to get really spectacular results. Usually it's in the time span of years rather than in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, the type of time spans that you would see in these products that we see everywhere in the fitness space. We want to be going over most of these fundamentals, and we want to be practicing most of them most of the time over the time span of years. If we want to see long-lasting results, then we have to adopt these activities, these mindsets as part of our overall lifestyle rather than something that we're doing for a short period of time. The key to embracing these things as part of your lifestyle is to genuinely enjoy the process. I know for myself, it was quite frustrating in the beginning to be able to keep track of everything that I was eating and also keep track of how my exercise programs were going. Also keeping track of the schedule, making sure that I was doing all the things that I needed to do. But then once I started to give myself more time to ease into the lifestyle, the more easier things became. I got to enjoy the process of learning about my own body and enjoying the intrinsic rewards of doing good things for myself. I was less focused on what I saw in the mirror and what I saw on the scale and more focused on how much better I was feeling. If we can learn to enjoy the good feelings of health and use that as a measuring stick of our success, then this journey is going to be a fulfilling one. If you expect to be living for the next 5 years, the next 10 years, if you expect to be alive in 20 years from now, then why not take more time to enjoy the process and give yourself more leeway to learn and to adjust to the learning curve of being more healthy. Since you have a long period of time in order to master this, then it's also important for me to say that you don't need to get it perfect right at the start. Like I said before, do most of these things that you're able to comfortably do now most of the time. You're going to screw up along the way, and that's totally fine as long as you learn from it and as long as you have that beginner mindset and that long-term mindset of improving yourself, you're going to be okay. So if you've got any questions about anything that I've discussed in this video, then leave it down in the comments below. Check out my other videos on the next screen for more health tips, and I'll see you in the next video.